Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you guys 3 things that every beginner should know how to do when they are editing their pictures in Photoshop. So the 3 things that I'll be sharing with you guys today is how to remove acne and acne scars and spots and blemishes and stuff like that, pimples from your face. I'll also be showing you guys how to remove photobombers out of your pictures, and I'll be showing you guys how to separate your subject from your background by using that blur effect in Photoshop. Now these are very quick and they're simple, they're very easy to do. Anybody can do them, especially beginners. I know Photoshop, it seems very overwhelming and complicated, but trust me guys, you guys can do this in like under 60 seconds, and it really does make a difference in your pictures. So I'm really excited to do this tutorial today, so without further ado, let's jump straight into the tutorial. Okay guys, remember to duplicate your layer, so that is Command J. Hit those 2 keys right now on your laptop. Okay, so here we have a picture of me, and if you look closely, you will see this big old pimple right on my nose right here. So we're gonna head over to the left side of the screen and we're gonna select the spot healing brush tool. As you can see, it's a little too big, so I'm just gonna size it down just a little bit to make sure that it fits perfectly over my pimple. This is fine. So we double tap those pimples and boom, it's gone, they're gone. And over here we have some more spots. I'm just gonna get rid of that and get rid of this one as well. Yeah, and here is your before and your after. Okay, so I have another picture here. This is my cousin has like really bad acne, and this one is like a better example. Basically, we're just gonna be doing the same thing that we did with the last picture. We select our spot healing brush tool and we make sure that we have a good enough size that will cover our pimples perfectly, and we just double tap on those pimples and they start to vanish. There's the before, there's the after. The before, the after. Now we move on to removing photobombers from your picture. Now there are many different methods that you guys can work with if you want to remove unwanted objects or people from your pictures. With that being said, remember that this is a beginner's video. It's very beginner friendly, so I'll be showing you guys the easiest way how you can do that. But please bear in mind, if you're going to be using this particular method that I'll be showing you, you have to work with a pretty solid background. Make sure that your background isn't complex or overcrowded, otherwise this method won't work. If you have a background like that, then you're gonna have to use a more advanced method, a more complicated method that might take a little longer than usual. So if you have that type of background, this one isn't for you. Now here I have a lovely photo of me on vacation by the poolside, you know, before quarantine and COVID was a thing. Here I am, and these are my 2 cousins here in the pool, but the thing is I don't want them in the picture, so I'm gonna select the lasso tool, and what I'm going to do next is I am going to draw around the unwanted subject here. So right now I'm just doing a nice little outline around my baby cousin, and I'm doing that with my lasso tool. And guys, I forgot to remind you, always remember to duplicate your layers. So that's Command J to duplicate. Anyway, I'm just gonna scroll up now and I am going to click on edit, and then we scroll down to fill, and then you see content aware, you press OK. And almost like magic, he has vanished from the picture. Look at that. Okay, so let's just click Ctrl D to deselect that, and we're gonna move on to our next victim, our next photobomber. Here he is up here. We need to get him out of the picture. Now we're gonna be doing the same exact thing that we did for the first photobomber. We use our lasso tool and we just draw around him. But the thing is, this one it's going to be a little more complex. It's not going to be as easy as the last one, because I think we're going to have some patching up to do because of the background. As you can see, is right next to the pool. Anyway, we click edit, fill, and content aware. Okay, now this is what I'm talking about. You see that? Do you see that? Anyway, Control D to deselect, and we're gonna click the clone stamp. If you see over to the left side of your screen, you're gonna see a clone stamping tool. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to like take a sample of the water and we're going to try and reconstruct the image. So basically I'm like pasting the water over this gray brownish whitish looking area right here. So guys, if you look very closely, okay, you don't have to look closely, it's very obvious. The pool side is very blurry. It's not as sharp as we'd like it to be, and that's actually my fault. I should have chosen a hard round shape for my clone stamp instead of a soft round. And you can find these options. You can adjust the shape of your brush in the brush preset picker above. We went there earlier to adjust our size, to adjust the size of the lasso tool and the quick selection tool, and you know what we did earlier. You can use that same option to adjust the shape and the size of the various tools that you use in Photoshop. So I am going to choose a hard round shape for my clone stamp, so we can have a sharper edge when we're reconstructing the edge of the pool. So we're gonna go ahead and go right in with our clone stamping tool once again. So in order to use the clone stamping tool, you have to click down on the Alt key on the keyboard along with clicking the right side of your mouse. That is how we get a nice cutout sample of whatever it is you want to paste. So I am going to try and get a sample of the sharper edge of the pool, and I am going to start to paste that along the blurry edges. So here's our before or after. Before, after, before, after. Alright, so that's looking good. So the next thing that I'm about to show you guys how to do is how to separate the subject from the background by doing the whole blur thing, right? And some of you guys may find this very useful, especially if you guys are working with a very inexpensive Android phone that has very outdated camera features. So in that case, maybe live focus isn't available on your phone camera, but we can work with that. And I really like the whole background blur thing, because it really makes the picture look professional and very realistic, because we all know that's how the human eye works. Anything you're focusing on, it's like very pronounced, while the background is very blurred. That's how we see things, right? At least some of us. Okay guys, so here I have a lovely photograph of myself. I'm going to head over to the left side of my screen and I'm going to click on my quick selection tool. The icon resembles a little paintbrush and I am basically going to create this outline around myself using the quick selection tool. And make sure that when you look to the top of your screen, the brush that is selected, it has a plus sign beside of it because we are adding to our selection in this case. Now as you can see, we have selected a piece of the window and a little piece of the floor, and we don't want that, so we're going to minus from this selection. So we're going to go back to the top of our screen and click on the brush that has the minus sign, and we're going to adjust the size. Make sure that it's not too big, it's not too small, and we're going to begin to subtract away from this selection. And the size is still a little too big for me, so I'm going to adjust it again and make sure that it's smaller. And here we go, it's starting to look better now that we have sized it down a bit. We have subtracted the unwanted areas. We're going to go ahead and invert this image, so I'm going to click Ctrl Shift I on the keyboard to invert the image. And what this does is, it allows Photoshop to focus on what's around the subject. I still need to smooth my edges out. It's not as perfect as I'd like it to be, so I am going to go to the very top of my screen. I am going to click select, and then I am going to click refine edge, and as you can see, I am highlighted in red. I am going to begin to I'm just going to smooth out my edges. So I'm going to drag that little eraser looking thing, or brush, whatever you want to call it, along the edges right there. So I'm just going to smooth it out, especially the back of my head, so because it's looking all jagged and stuff. So I'm going to smooth out right there. I accidentally selected some of the window. You can just press Ctrl Z to undo any mistakes, any errors that you have made. So that's looking fine, guys. That's looking fine so far. You have finished refining your edge, just click OK, and now we're going to head on over to edit. So go up to the top of the screen, click edit, click blur, and click field blur. When you click on field blur, all of the background is going to look blurry, and you can adjust how thick you want your blur to be by playing around with this little circle right here. So I don't want it to be too blurred, I just want a little blur so it can look realistic. So this is good. You click high quality and you press OK, and you just let Photoshop do its thing, and there we go. You click Ctrl D to deselect, so you can get rid of the marching ants around you, and there we go. Before, after, before, after. Cool, right? So here we have another picture. Here's a picture of my cute baby brother. Now this one is going to be a little different. I don't want the entire background to be blurred, just the top half. So when we're blurring, when we're going to put our blur effect on this, we're not going to click on field blur this time. We're going to click on tilt blur, but we're not going to go there as yet. We're going to go back through the same steps that we did first with the first picture before we head on over to blurring and stuff. So make your selection as I showed you guys in the last picture, and you add to your selection, you minus whatever you want from the selection and stuff like that, and remember to refine the edges, blah 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 blah. And when you're finished, we meet back here and I'll show you how to do the tilt blur. So you're basically going to do the same thing. Go up to the very top of your screen, click on edit, click on blur, and to the menu that pops up beside it, you're going to click on tilt shift instead. And that's how you're going to get the option of, you know, blurring only certain parts of the photograph. And in this case, I told you guys that I only want the top half to be blurred. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play around with the little markers a bit, and I'm going to drag it down a little bit because I want, you know, some blur to like meet me like in the middle of his head or so forth. So yeah, you just play around a little with these lines to adjust the blur on the photograph. When you are finished with that, remember to adjust the thickness of the blur, how thick you want it to be. When you're finished, you click on high quality at the top of your screen and then you press OK. Anyway guys, that is it for today's video. If you really enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to leave a like, so click the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and share this video and leave a comment below. Bye guys.